businesses, not just from me and what I say about them, but from themselves. And so yesterday we had lots of great content talking to you about implementing. We walked you through the philosophies, the whys. And honey, I'm looking at myself really big, and that feels really weird right now. So maybe you can get me back to grid screen here. Sorry, that totally. I don't know if you guys have had that experience when you're on camera, like all of a sudden you're looking at all the little faces, right? And then it goes like, whoo, here I am. And I'm like looking at a mirror and I'm like, hang on. All right. Thank you. Okay. I can see everybody again. So putting all those pieces together, right? Putting all those pieces together, growing the way that we can talk to our people, like learning the stories that we can use to speak to them, speaking their language, bringing them up the river into our community, giving them a chance to buy in and go deeper with us. But I know that at this point in the program, I've done this enough to realize that somewhere around midday, day 2, some of us start to feel like, oh my goodness, this was so good. And it ends tomorrow and I got to go back and figure out how to do this by myself. Right. And so I'm bringing in people who have done it successfully to show you can do it successfully and be able to speak some of that life into you as well. So it's starting to get real. And I think it's super important, especially with the theme of extra in the extraordinary, that you meet some of these other ordinary people just like you who are doing extraordinary things in their business by implementing some of the things that we've been talking about. And so, we all start the same way. We all start the same way. We all have to learn the same things. We all learn to walk and talk and put our clothes on the same way, right? In your business, you all have to learn the same things and learn how to do all the things. And then eventually you learn what you're good at and what to delegate and how to even delegate and what that process looks like. And we keep growing and we keep learning. And part of that process is that inspiration. It's a huge piece, I think, in being able to go and do successfully is by looking at the stories of those who've gone before us. And this is also a biblical principle. The Old Testament, when the children of Israel crossed the river and came through on dry ground because God parted the waters for them, what did they do? They went back into the middle of the river. They took out 12 stones and set those stones up as a memorial on the side so that when people see this and ask you, you can recount to them what God has done. And that's what we're doing in our businesses too, is we're taking those things that God has done, be able to turn them into the stories that then give our people hope. If he did it for me, he can do it for you. Look at the power of your God. Look at how good God is. Look at what he's done in the lives of others, because it gives us hope, because we know our God doesn't change. And he is the same yesterday and today and forever. And so if he was like that, then he is like that today for me. He can also be like that today for you. And it gives us hope and it gives us inspiration. And we also know that when we do well, we can do good. Right? This is one of those big principles that helps us overcome that mindset of charging for what I offer. When I do well, then I can do good. When the more tool I have of money in the kingdom, the more resource, the more tool I can use to grow what God has given me. The more seed I have, the more seed I plant, the more seed I can get in return. Right? And these are people who are using their seeds, who are using those tools to be able to go out and grow what God has put into their hands through those repeatable, systematized practices. And I believe that God honors those things just like he honors those of us who are using those core values and those biblical principles in our business. So today I've got 4 important people that I want to introduce you to. And the hope here is that something that they say is going to turn you around, going to help give you that inspiration, going to help challenge you to take that action, going to help inspire you or equip you to take that next step and turn your thinking around on what is possible. I want you to look for yourself in their stories. Okay. I don't want you to turn this off here. This is still content. You should still be taking notes. All right. God can speak to you through their stories much better than he can speak through me for 3 days. And so be open, be expectant for God to show you something big in the stories of one of these. These are people who have made decisions to take what they've learned and put it into action. I want you to listen. Listen for how they pivoted. Listen for where they were. Listen for the things they did to change. Listen for the results they're getting, not just the metrics, not just the statistics, but also the changes in them as a person, because God is becoming us. Remember, this is a process of who we are becoming. What are the changes in them, in their lives, in their family as they have improved, as well as the business impact. And so first up today, I want to bring up to the stage someone who is a fabulous teacher. She could probably do a better job of this than I could. Let's welcome PJ Pitonyak. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here, PJ, and thank you for sharing this time with us. So I would love for you to introduce yourself and what your business is to our people. And there you go.
Yeah. Could make myself big too. Yeah, I am PJ Pitonyak, but I also go by Teacher Patricia. My mother always said, PJ, you need to have a more professional name. My birth name is Patricia. And I'm not all that professional, but I do love every time I get to say my name is Teacher Patricia. So I taught in the public school system and in the private school system for a few years, for over 35 years, and I retired. And I retired in 2018, took a year off to enjoy doing nothing as someone who is retired from teaching. And I left teaching just when it was getting pretty, well, I don't want to say ugly or nasty, but yeah, it was getting pretty ugly and nasty. And I thank God every day that I left when I did, because very soon after, COVID hit. And I praise those teachers that are in the public school system for everything that they had to do during that time. But right before COVID, I just started working as an online teacher, because I thought I can't just stay retired forever and do nothing. So I became an online teacher with a company. Actually, I'm an independent contractor. I don't work for them specifically, but I am an independent contractor with VIP Kid. And I adore that business. And I don't know if any of you have heard of the business or anything that's going on, but laws were changed where foreign teachers weren't supposed to be teaching in China anymore. And I remember being with the group, my community, my business community, and I cried like a baby. It breaks my heart now even to just say, because I remember posting on Facebook, what else do I have to lose? Because the year that I started teaching was 2019, like in December. Then COVID hit 2020. I lost my dad. And that was in 2020, February 17th. So March 17th always is the 1 month anniversary. And then on March 26th, I lost my mom. And I thought, wow, but I have my immediate family here, and I have my new career that I love. It's more like play for me because I get to teach from home. I'm playing. But I thought in 2021, when the company changed because we weren't supposed to teach anymore, I thought, what else do I have to lose? Because that was the reason for me to wake up in the morning, really. But I pivoted. I heard you say that word pivot.
Yeah, you did.
Pivoted.
And I love the thought, or I love your story here and how you came from, I'm leaving that career. I'm looking to do something I still love, something I enjoy. And I'm going to jump into this, and then going through those losses, finding a thing that you could teach online, and then having lost the family members, and then losing that ability to teach overseas. I remember how crushed you were, right? And all of us for several weeks didn't know what was going to happen with that. And to see like how you were there with like, I've lost everything is what I remember you saying. Like, all of these children, like from one day to the next, I have no communication with them and no way to reach out even and try to keep this up. What am I going to do? Not just what am I going to do money wise, but also like, this was your joy. This is what lit you up. And then to see where you are today, talk a little bit about what God has done and what he's restored to you in that.
Okay. I am a very strong person. I cry often and easily, but that does not mean I'm not strong. And my faith is even stronger than my strength. I know that we all have a plan that God has given us. And I decided I am a good teacher and I love these children and these children need me. So I got online and I stayed connected with as many of the teachers that I had met. And there is a way that we can teach to our children. One way is to connect through WeChat. And I say that because some people are like, ooh, well, you know what? I just wanted to reach out to my children to get to know them and their families more. And so I have probably 30 people on WeChat that are just families I love. And just this past week, one of the very first students that I taught in 2019, maybe it was January of 2020. Anyway, I had lost him, kept in touch with him on social media, and he is now a weekly student of mine again. I started with him when he was 12, and now he's 15. And it's because he knows that I care about him. He enjoyed the way I was teaching, and I can teach independently on my own. I know how to collect payment through PayPal and Stripe. I know how to advertise. I started on Instagram, and I cannot believe this, but I started on Instagram, and I don't know if I have 240 something. It's not even thousands of people, but another startup company got in touch with me. They saw the love. I'm not even posting like a lot of other people. I know I need to, but they saw the love and the joy of my teaching in what I posted, and they reached out to me. And now I am teaching actually more students with that company than I am with VIP Kid. But I'm still active in VIP Kid, and I'm going to be loyal to them forever because they are the best for education and everything else.
And full teaching schedule now.
Well, it's a part-time schedule, and that is because I want to be part-time. Remember, I am retired, and I have a lot of other things that I'm learning. How to do TikTok, how to do Instagram, how to do all this other stuff. Now YouTube, it's like, oh my gosh. So I really try to think 20 hours of teaching, and that's pretty much what I want to do. Today I taught 5 classes, yesterday I taught 7, all before coming to the conference. So I'm available in the mornings, and I love that. That's my schedule. I literally wake up at 4:30 in the morning with my husband. He goes to his office. I walk down the stairs, and I see my kids, and I love it. And then I'm done. And then I can do all the other things that I'm learning.
I love it. I love that. I remember when you came into our coaching group and you said, you guys are not going to believe this. I just made, can I tell them this story?
You can.
I just made more this month than I made in my full-time month in career teaching, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen every month. And I know that you've chosen to scale back hours to give you more free time in other places, but just the idea that we could do that with our business, like how cool is that?
Yeah.
And all these kids that you're impacting. I know you're a little bit limited in what you can say on air with these children because of the countries that some of them are in, but tell us one of your stories about, I can think of many of them. There was an Easter story, and there was a Christmas story, and there was something else where you got to actually share Christ.
Yeah, I'll talk about one of the young ladies that I taught yesterday. I teach her every Friday morning for an hour. Her mother, some of the parents just put money into my account because I'm not great at billing. I'm thinking maybe my husband needs to do my billing because these families that I work with on my own, we are family friends for life. They literally say that, I say that. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't even know their last names or the exact cities where they live. It's all on first name basis, but I trust them. They trust me. And so the mother just paid for another 10 lessons because we try to do it in a bundle like that. And she said, continue to talk to my daughter about serious issues. And so we talk about a lot of things. I sometimes wonder, how much further can we go with this? But the point is that I don't want to treat her like a baby. She's a teenager. And so we have really mature conversations about things. And she's very opinionated and all of that. So that's good. I had just posted on Facebook today for St. Patrick's Day that I was talking to the student who came back to me after being gone for a couple of years. he and I were talking about Ireland, and he saw a picture of the Cliffs of Moher, and he said, "Is that what that is?" And I said, "Oh, yes." He says he went there. And I said, "So did I." And it is so cool to know that he and I have been on the same ground. Even though we're on opposite ends of the world, we met there in spirit. You know, our footprints are there. So I will say one thing when you're talking about the money. I actually went and I looked and I started a little chart yesterday during our conference, because when you had said something about that I was going to be talking without saying my name, but I was like, oh man, she's really going to talk about that. And it is true. There was a time, literally, when one paycheck was $4,800 and something, just from one company. That didn't involve all the other things I was doing. So that, yeah, the pension, you remember, anybody who wants to work from home, you don't worry about your car, your gas, the clothes you wear, the food, the meetings, the commuting. It's amazing. And yeah, that's happened a couple of months. And I totaled up how much I make per month in different programs, because I have quite a few programs now that I work with, because I have to diversify, because you never know what's going to happen. And so I have that. And then I total up the number of hours, and I'm like, really? I only work 1 hour with this student and 4 hours with this student. Wow, I'm literally only working about 20 hours, but I'm bringing home and saving and combination all thereof. But there was a time when the business was huge. There's actually a movie that I was able to go to an online premiere of as a teacher, because I was invited. But it explains about the fall of the English as a second language overseas situation, but it's not all gone. We know how to reach our students. They know how to reach us. And I'm expanding into other countries. I think I'm up to about 7 countries that I've taught students in. And all of this is because when I met you and I attended something and I talked privately with you, and it was like, well, I can do this. I can learn this. But you said, but will you? And you know what? I won't. I need that accountability. And I really need even more accountability and another swift kick to really do everything that I have the potential to do. But I have learned so much that I never even knew was in the plan for me to learn. And it's like, okay, there's other things on the back burner, but I keep learning new things and new things and new things. And it's because of you and because of the community. Yes, I am a lifelong learner. I am a teacher. I'm a participant. There are a lot of people who don't know what's going on because they never, they don't do the extra workshops. They don't get the extra trainings. I do all of that. I would have done that anyway. But it's like, what do you do when you're lost? When a business crashes, I got the strength from you and the community. And okay, this is how I can build. This is how I can do this and that and the other thing. So that's why it's important to have a really strong community, and to know our own strengths, but know what we can get from our community.
So important. So important to have that around us. What do you think is the biggest surprise in growing your business over the last couple of years? What has surprised you the most about the process of growth in yourself?
I think the idea that I am a teacher, but I was explaining to some of the other people here, I also have an umbrella business because I am a life coach with Wonder and Grace Life Coaching. God gave me that name. I know that I have a master's in counseling. And so I'm doing that too for people, especially moms who have lost their children. So I'm a grief to life coach. God told me, this is what I want you to do, but he's not really bringing the clients to me. But I remember the one time when I literally was on the phone with somebody and I said, well, how can I help you? After we talked for a while, it got to the point where it's nice talking to you, but I want a business too. So I remember literally saying, well, how can I help you? I do use PayPal. And I went upstairs and I told my husband, I can't believe I just told, because this was a friend actually, said, I can't believe I just told her that I use PayPal for coaching. and I'm charging this amount of money. And since then I've doubled what I charge, and I just got paid last week with somebody. Okay. So God said, PJ, you are a life coach, and PJ, you are a health coach, because I have clients through that too, just all in this time period, right about when I'm going to talk to you about teaching. It's like these other careers or, services or areas, whatever, these are things I want you to do too. But let's face it, you're a teacher, you love teaching, and there's just, I don't know. I know that I can always survive because I can do this until I'm 100 years old. Literally, I can. As long as I know how to use the new computers that come out in the next 10 or 20 or 30 years, I'll be okay. So, but the idea that I can actually say, yes, I am a professional. I've always been a professional teacher, but somebody that is a professional online teacher. English as a second language. The reason why I knew that I would be good at this is because I had adopted 2 children from Russia, and I had to teach them English as a second language. So, and to that point, my son, I just found out today, just got 100 on his first test in his new training with the military. So, he's at the top of his class right now. Nobody else got that. So that's, it kind of ties in a little bit too. But what surprised me is that, well, no, I'll say with this, it isn't about even what I've said or done. The biggest surprise, or the biggest, I don't know, the way that God proves is like, I'm not really surprised by it, but it's the fact that I know 100% God is here. God is with me every day. He might take something away, but he opens up another door and says, no, that wasn't enough. I need you to now be more independent and go find those kids on your own. You have to set up the lessons. You have, but I know that I'm never going to go hungry. I'm never going to go without a home. I'm never going to go without a kid that I can teach. So God is with me 100%. And this is, I'm sorry, people. I know you're all passionate. I know you love your jobs, but this is the coolest thing. I mean, literally, I'm teaching adults and I'm teaching children. The children are getting younger and younger. I'm teaching 2-year-olds. Today I taught one, and she was actually singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star with me and other things. I'm also teaching another 2-year-old who said nothing for the first 20 minutes. I said, son, and he said, son, and then he started talking. I'm like, 5 minutes of success, but yeah, I love this.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing your joy and your experiences with us. I appreciate having you on today.
Let's
give her a round of applause or a wave on the screen or something to show. Thank you for that, PJ.
Thank you so much.